Hi everyone, I'm Ro Klein and you're watching another movie of the week. And if this is your first time watching movie of the week, every week there's a new movie and I talk about it here, and then you guys can comment below, and at the end of every video I say the movie for next week so you can follow along. The movie of this week was The Devil Wears Prada from 2006. So if you haven't watched it, watch it now. So this is actually my third time watching this movie. I know all the other movie of the weeks, at least, well, not Clue, but the other ones, it was like my second time watching it. So this is my third time watching it. And I think not for every movie I will remember how many times I watched it, but I know this is my third time watching the movie. I also, my first time watching The Devil Wears Prada, I feel like I was like college, or at least like late in high school. Like didn't watch it when I was younger, even though this came out in 2006. Now, I first want to say I do regret having this as a movie of the week. I should not have had this as a movie of the week. But it was too late and I didn't realize until after I watched it. And if you're wondering why I wish I didn't have this as movie of the week, which I think maybe is a great way to talk about it here, and we talk about whatever, you know, whatever it is, but it's because my last time watching this was in college, and now I'm 22, almost 23, and in the working world. I had you know, a full-time job, and now I'm actually in I just started my second full-time post-grad job. So now watching this movie, being like in the workforce, it gives me a different feeling. I don't know how to really describe it. If you watch this movie, if this is your first time watching the movie and you're an adult, you work, you know, you might have a perspective with it. If you are younger and still in college or high school, whatever it is, and you're watching this movie, you'll have a different perspective on it. Or if you were like me and, you know, when you watch it when you're younger and then you watch it again now that you're older and you have a job, you probably have another perspective on it. And I never really thought about movies this way, that when, you know, let me just say, like, some movies, I feel like, you know, you do have a different perspective on it, like, when you're older because of your, you know, your just age, like, or something. Or I kind of always, you know, if, let's say, like, an actor died in a movie, or an actor, you know, they did something bad, and then you look back at a movie, you know, you view it a little bit different, definitely. But I never really thought, like, with this movie, and I really, like, I'm only 2-3 years older than when I watched it last, so I don't think it's really the age thing. I think it's just like where I am in life, where now I'm working, that it's having a different perspective on me. And so I never really thought it with this movie, but it's interesting. So getting into more of the perspective aspect of it, I definitely feel like my first 2 times watching it, it was more like, it's like a fun movie, and this one, it just felt like not that fun watching it. And I think they like did keep it really fun, because like now that like I have work, I like when I see her, like, she's working like crazy hours, like from when the sun rises to this, well, even past the sunset. But it's just like you don't really see her like breaking down or having like mental breakdowns. And I think they just kept it more lightheartedness, and, you know, they did have drama aspect, but they did have like more fun aspect, because they still wanted to make this like a fun movie. I feel like they, you know, if another director or, you know, another studio, if they didn't want it to be like that fun, they could have made it even more dramatic and crazy, like kind of in a way like a Whiplash, like just like crazy. Like, I feel like, let's say, you know, I think his name is like Damien or or whatever his name is, that director of that movie. He's directed like La La Land and Babylon. But if you just like kind of take that like dramatic aspect, you know, you could have turned that way. But they wanted to make this more like a fun, like, oh, rom-com, even though it was in rom-com, but, you know, like one of those, like, not really a chick flick. You know, I've heard that this movie, I feel like people have said it's a chick flick before. I don't know, but just like, they just wanted to still keep it like really fun and stuff. So like, you know, at the beginning, like with the whole montage scene, you know, you really see different perspectives and everything. I actually want to add this point. I think the last time I watched this movie actually was for a class because I was in a screenwriting class, and we had these assignments where like one of the assignments was literally to write every scene down in a movie. And then I did that for one movie, and I think I did that for Little Miss Sunshine, and then we had like an extra credit thing that if you would do it for another movie. So I did it for The Devil Wears Prada. So I actually, last time I watched this movie, I was writing down every single scene and like stopping it to write down every single scene. And really like writing down every scene was just like to write like the location and like the characters and just like a sentence of what was happening. But I really did like, I guess, break it down and stop it and really analyze it. But then again, I was still in college and I don't think I like realized. I think I also picked this movie to do the extra credit for because at the time in that screenwriting class, I was working on a script that had a little bit of the same feel as The Devil Wears Prada. Now watching it again, like I still feel like a little bit that way, but it's still very different. It's just that film that I was writing about, there's like really no films like it. So there's just in that film that I wrote, it has like some of the same elements where it's like in an office and there's a lot of like woman characters and women being like the boss, and but it's still very different, but I just felt like at the time like, oh, The Devil Wears Prada is the closest film I could think of. Which, by the way, that film, which is, I know I'm going on like tangents not talking about Devil Wears Prada, but that film, I'm not gonna even say the name of it, but that was like the first film idea I've ever came up with when I was like 14, and I really like took years like working on it and like developing it and like planning it out. And then I guess when I was like 20 in college, I like wrote it. So it's my biggest passion project. I have like 2 or 3 for film. Now I have a few other passion for my writing, but that's like my number one film. And I like, there's like 10 characters or something, and I already have planned out like the actors I need to be those characters. And if it ever gets made and I can't get those actors to play those parts, I'm gonna be like so devastated and don't know if the film can continue. Like, it's really okay. I know I'm going tangents. But actually, my brother, I once showed him the script just because he wanted to see like what script looked like, and I don't really like to include like character descriptions, like, oh, like this is like the color of their skin, or this is the color of their hair, or whatever, like in my writing. But just because of the way I kind of wrote the character without like physical descriptions, but the way I wrote the character, my brother was like, Shay Mitchell, you want Shay Mitchell to play this character? And I was like, yes, because it so clearly has to be her. Anyway, let's go on tangents. It probably will never get made because, you know, I have too big of a dreams. But anyway, but I don't even know where we're talking about with Devil Wears Prada. But yeah, I think they just wanted to make it more like mainstream, I guess, in a way. But yeah, looking at it now, like working in the workforce, I think it deals with a lot of like dilemmas that, you know, it's such a hard deal with like balancing like work and, you know, regular life. And like personally, as someone in the workforce now, like that's something I struggle with, is like balancing like work and personal life. And I think this movie kind of like really showed that, and I think that's kind of get missed upon just because the movie was more mainstream and was, you know, you probably try to get like a different like message out of it. But I think that's what it really was, like kind of showing like the struggles of like and also doing like the right thing. And so those are some of the struggles that this film showed and like the message showed. And I feel like we don't have a lot of films like that. I feel like in general there's not, you see like TV shows with people in like a workplace a lot, like even like, you know, Brooklyn Nine-Nine or like any of those hospital shows, like they're in a workplace, but it's like different because that's a TV show and this is a movie. And I just feel like there's a lack of movies about offices, but maybe I'm just like not thinking correctly. But especially, I guess, a lack of movies that show like the struggles of like work and like regular life, because a lot of movies, they show more like the regular life and then like someone has like a job and it's a little bit of the job, but it's not like real, like this is like a real movie showing work. By the way, my film that I wrote, like it does deal with work, but it also deals with so many things, so it's, I wouldn't say it has the same message about dealing with work in regular life, even though I guess like that's a little bit in it, but it's very like what the film's about is so different, so it's hard. Okay, going back to The Devil Wears Prada, I've seen a lot like in the past few years, like on social media, the people are saying like, you know, because Meryl Streep's character is supposed to be like the villain, right? But, you know, people are saying like the boyfriend's the villain. So that's why this time watching the movie, I actually went into it trying to be like, let's see if the boyfriend actually is a villain. And I want to say yes and no. I feel like some of the things he does is not correct, but with what he was dealing with, and like she missed his birthday, yeah, and just like not making time for him, like he has a right to be upset. So I feel like, but then I also like was looking at Meryl Streep's character and I'm like, she's not exactly the villain either, like it's just yes or no. Like things she did was yes or no. So I feel like that's with every character in this movie, like, and also like Emily's character, like yes or no, like like things she did. So I just feel like every character like is not exactly the villain, but they're not like exactly the greatest person either. I think it's just trying to deal with what they're given in these circumstances that are real, true of life, where there's struggles with dealing with work and dealing with life. And you know, it's true, like, you know, Meryl Streep's character is like awful and treats her assistants like that. I mean, I feel like she could have, like, it just in the way she had to be that way to make it to where she is and have the influence she is. But I do feel like she could have been a little bit nicer. But yeah, so it's I think in the end, like, that's really what this film shows, like, and I'm going into like really deeper and having a new perspective on it that I didn't have before. And also another thing is like this movie, like I feel like it used to be like enjoyable watching like a lighthearted movie, but this time watching it didn't feel enjoyable. Like it gave me a little anxiety. Like I didn't have the best time watching it because now I relate to it a little bit more, and like it's just a different side of it. Also, another thing is my grandma's in the hospital, and so we actually just visited her this morning, and we're like scrolling through the channels and The Devil Wears Prada's on. So they put it on and I was like, I just watched this last night and I didn't want to watch it again. So I like kind of faced away and I just like didn't really want to watch it. So I'm sure I'll watch this movie again at some point, but just now like looking at it with a whole new perspective. And I'm sure probably like next time I watch it, like maybe in 5 years, you know, I don't know where I am going to be in life with work or anything. And so probably will have a new perspective on it. So I think it kind of cool and interesting if movies do, you know, where you are in life, it does give you a good perspective, especially, but it is sad that like it's not as enjoyable anymore. And like, I kind of feel that way about like some of the shows, like Supernatural is like my favorite show, but I just feel like watching it like it doesn't feel the same, and it might just be because of where I am in life. But I think in the end, even though like I was, after watching this, or even when I'm watching this, I was like, I wish this was in a movie a week, because this is hard stuff to talk about. I think in the end it probably, you know, was good movie of the week because I'm kind of getting in more deeper and seeing things through a new perspective. So anyway, I know I didn't really talk a lot about like the scenes of the movie, just kind of more the deeper message, but please comment below your thoughts and feelings if you felt the same way about, you know, your perspective, or if you want to talk more about the scenes, like go right away ahead, like do whatever you want. So yeah, comment below your thoughts and feelings about The Devil Wears Prada. And then the movie for next week, we're still in the 21st century, y'all. It's Napoleon Dynamite from 2004, which I think when I put it on the list of movies of the week, I thought it was from the 1900s, just because it doesn't take place in the 21st century, but it is from 2004. So make sure you comment below about Devil Wears Prada, and make sure you watch Napoleon Dynamite for next week. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and bye.